Good morning, everyone. So in the last class, we are trying to discuss with the data types here. And so before going to discuss with the data types, we identified the if condition and the loop condition here. The for loop have we identified like how we can follow the proper syntax to work on the loop related example here. Okay. So today we are going to discuss with the more on the same data types here. So once the data types are completed, now we'll check with the so type conversion and array related example here. Okay, so back to here. So yesterday we are trying to discuss with this particular CAR demo, and we will try to check with the same example one more time here. So Java C CAR demo.java, it's compiled successfully. CAR demo, right? So what we are getting here, now you can see the CH1 and CH2 we are having A and Y here. Basically, so what is the problem here? The A value we did not provide here, but basically we are giving the like a Unicode number, so something called 65 here, getting the point. But even though if we are providing the 65 value, but as we are getting as a output as a value here, getting the point. So whatever the value which is available in the Unicode, so which is going to return the particular character information here. So the 65 is going to represent this particular A character, right? So it is representing A value here. I'm not aware of the view. So basically, most of the people they are unable to select the audio option here. So see, viewer 1 and viewer 6 they did not enable the audio, but they are sending a messages. They are not unable to get the voice here. So you need to join the properly. So then only you're going to get a voice here. Okay, so back to here. So most of the people they are having. Okay, so basically these are the recorded sessions only. But now, so as of now, I did not created any the playlist link here. So today I'm going to create the playlist link and I will share the videos like where exactly the record sessions are available. So you can access the recorded sessions here. Okay, so back to here. We understood these particular values are coming from the ASCII values here. Now, so we need to understand here, if I'm going to give this particular number, we are getting a value. But if I'm going to give this particular character, so how we can return this particular value. So let's see, char ch3 is equals to, so if I'm going to add as this particular z character, here, so z character here. I'm trying to print this particular, not ch z. Here we need to print ch3. Right. So let me save here. Let me clear the console. Java C cardemo.java. It is compiled successfully. Cardemo. So what is the value we are getting here? So even though if we are giving this particular character, we are getting the character only. We are not getting any the particular value which is resides beside this particular character here. So how we can get it this particular character? Right. So to get this particular character, what we need to do? Basically, we cannot use this particular the data type called char here. Right. So we need to return this particular value into data type here. So if you observe here, now what I am doing here. So directly, if I am going to run this particular same example, so observe here, Java C char demo.java. So now, what is the value we are getting here? 90. Getting the point. So if I am going to give this particular character, we are getting a value here. So this is the way we can get the value here. Any questions regarding this? So now we given this particular number, we are getting the particular character. So I'm giving this particular character, I'm getting a number here, right? So we identified both the cases here, but only the difference here, while trying to convert the character into number, so we cannot use the char data type. So we need to use this particular into data type here. So this is we need to focus here. Let me check the user one is still audio problem. Not sure he is not yet connected here. So you need to reconnect one more time. Okay. So observe here. So I'm requesting here while joining this particular meeting. So you need to enable all the option here. So some of the people they did not enable the the particular audio option here. So still I'm able to see two people they did not enable the audio option, but they are asking to me. So the voice is not coming here. Okay. So please check one more time here while joining this particular session here. So back to here. Now we understand this particular CAD demo related example here, and we need to check with one more example here how exactly the increment is going to happen internally. So let me check with one more class here. CAD demo to public static void menu string args here. Okay. Now what I'm going to write here. So basically I'm trying to define here ch1 here. I'm trying to declare this particular variable called ch1 here. So after declaring this particular ch1, what I'm doing is I'm trying to initializing the value as a x here. Getting the point. So now what I'm going to do, I will print this particular x value so ch1 contains ch1 contains ch1, and later now what I'm doing is ch1 plus plus here. So carefully observe here, even though if you are trying to work with the character here, now what I'm doing is I'm trying to incrementing this particular value here. So which value I'm trying to increment in here? The ch1 I'm trying to increment here. So one value is going to increment here. After this, after incrementing here, again I'm trying to print the value. So ch1 is now. So what is the output you are expecting here? Let me copy this and save CAD demo2.java. So if anyone having any idea, so what is the ch1 here? We are going to print a line number 5, and So what about this particular line number 7 here? So can you please like provide your outputs like what you are trying to think? So the line number 5, what is the value we are going to get here? And the same way, the line number 7, so what is the value we are going to get here? Okay. Unicode of X. So in 7y, X value and Y value line number 6. Good. Good. Okay, some of the people they are answering only one, but here we are having so two println methods here. So just check the same example one more time. We are having two println methods here. So we need to find out the two outputs here. Okay, so most of the people they are providing the output correctly. So observe here now what I am going to write here. Java C car demo 2.java. So it's compiled successfully. Car demo 2. Right. Now you can see the ch1 contains x value and the ch1 is now y. So what I want to provide here in this example, so basically even though we are trying to work with the char data types, we can increment the value and based on this particular increment here, the character is not going to increment here. So whatever the value which is resides in the particular character, based on the particular value, so the same value is going to increment here. Getting the point. So for example, what is the x value we are having? Getting the point. So you can think, so maybe if it is any, so if it is a 88, right? So just for understanding I am giving, if it is the x value we are having 88. So the 88 is going to incremented here. So it will become 89. But here the character, whatever the character we are having, the x is not going to incremented here. Getting the point. The x value, whatever the x value which is available inside this particular unit code, the value is going to increment whenever we are trying to increment in here. Getting the point. So this we need to understand very carefully. So once the particular value is incremented, so we already identified based on the incremented value, we are going to have different character here. So this we need to focus very carefully. And the same increment we'll try to focus on the increment decrement operator, but there you are going to get different answer here. Basically this particular increment and decrement, so we'll focus on the integer related data types here. Integer related data types here. But now we are working on the character related data types, even though we can work with the character related data types here. So just for understanding, I'm giving this particular example here. So back to here, we need to check with the Boolean related data types here. So Boolean test here. So basically, we are having one of the Boolean data types here. So how exactly we can work with this particular Boolean data types here? So back to here, to work with this particular Boolean data types here, now what I can do, public static void menu, string args here. Right. So basically, observe here, so this particular Boolean is a primitive data type and this particular Boolean is a vapor class here. Right. So just for understanding, I'm explaining one more time here. So the B is going to start from the capital, we can call it as a vapor class, and this particular B is going to start from the small letter. So this particular data type we are going to call as a primitive data type here. Okay. So we'll see difference between primitive and vapor classes in our upcoming classes here. So now we need to focus the current example here, Boolean B. So what is the B here? B is a variable name, so the variable is having the data type called boolean here. Right. So if I'm going to print this particular B value, so what exactly the value which is resides in this particular boolean test here. So now clear the console, Java C boolean test.java. So the string we made as a wrong here. Compile. Now, so what happening here? Now you can see here. So the variable B might not have been initialized here. So by seeing this particular error, now what you are understanding here? So whatever the boolean values we declare here, we cannot use without initializing this particular value here. Getting the point. So this is important here. So to initialize here, what we need to do? So it's nothing but B is equals to false here. B is equals to false, because we can use only two values, true or false here. If I'm going to run the same example, we are not going to get any error here. So previously we got an error because we could not initialize here. So just for providing the information, if I'm not going to initialize here, what is the error we are going to get? So that is I'm trying to explain here. And now if I'm going to run this particular example, what is the value we are going to get? So that is called false here. That is called false here. So whatever the value which is resides in this particular B variable, we are printing the particular value here. So we initialize with the value called false, and the same value we are printing here. And after this, now what I am going to do? So B is equals to true. So carefully observe here, in the both location, in the fourth location and the sixth location, I'm using the same variable name here. But now what happens internally? So basically, so like the compiler is trying to execute this particular line number 3 onwards here. Now what happens internally? So it's going to declare the one variable called B, and the line number 4 we are initializing the value called false here. We are initializing the value called false. After initializing here, so it will print this particular line number 5, the B value which is going to print as a false. And later the line number 6, what we are doing here, again we are trying to initializing the true. So the false will become true here. So we cannot get the particular false value. So once the value is overridden, the override value we cannot get it here. Getting the point. So basically Java is going to execute it line by line here. So from top to bottom, the code is going to execute here. Getting the point. So it cannot go back to the from bottom to top here. Getting the point. So this is very important here. The code is going to execute from the top to bottom only. Right. Now observe here. After overriding this particular value with the true, if I'm going to print here, we are going to get this particular value as a true here. We cannot get the particular false value here. Because now what we are doing here, we are trying to override the value here. Now you can see, so initially it is a false value, and for the second line we override with true here. So this is very important here, how the values are going to override here. So we are working with the same variable here, but based on our requirement, we are trying to change the value here. Right. And now, so based on this particular same boolean here, I want to use the expression here. I want to use our if condition with our expression here. So how I'm going to use. So carefully observe here. So you need to answer my question regarding this particular block here. If I'm going to use this particular B, and I will write this particular message here. System dot out dot println here. Some code here. So can you please let me know? So the line number 9, the condition is going to return true or false.
It will
Okay.
return some code. True.
Yes, good. So now what I am doing here, after this, again I am making false here. Again I am trying to make this particular false here. So I am trying to check with one more condition here. System dot out dot println. So here I want to add a message for. So whatever this particular line number 12 condition, whether this particular condition is going to satisfy or not.
No.
Okay. So if it is not going to satisfy, whether like this particular state of this println method is going to executed or not.
No.
So this is we need to understand very carefully here. So basically inside this particular block of code, this particular if condition is going to get an expression value either true or false, right? So if it is true, this particular statement is going to execute it here, right? If it is returning this particular expression as a false here, what happens internally? So whatever the statements we are going to write, so those statements not going to execute it here. So this is very important here. We need to understand here. So not only this particular B, in the previous example, we understood here something called x less than 10. So this particular code is going to return also true or false values here. Okay. And in our upcoming classes, we'll check with more and more. So how we can define this particular, the conditional blocks with different types of expressions here. Now back to here, after completion of this particular Boolean data type here, we need to check with, so declaring the variable here. Declaring the variable here. So we need to understand the syntax here, how exactly we are following here. So basically, to declare the variable, first what we need to define here, the data type we need to define here. So without the data type, can we use this particular variable here? If I'm going to use here, what happens internally? So observe here, I'm not defining any data type here. If I'm going to run the same example here, so we can see it's not a statement here. Compiler cannot understand here, so what exactly the B contains here. What exactly the B contains here. Getting the points. So to provide the information to the compiler, this particular B is related to this particular data type here. Right. So now what we need to do, we need to define the particular data type here. So after defining this particular data type, now what we are doing here, we can define how many variables we want to define. How many variables we want to define here. So along with this particular data type here, now what we are doing here, we are trying to initializing the value. Simple here, observe here, I am defining one variable here into data type, something a comma b comma c. So this is the one case we can define the variable here, and the same way int d is equals to 3 and e comma f is equals to 5. So see here the line number 15 only like we are declaring the variables here, and the line number 16 some of the variable we are initializing the value, and some of the variable we are declaring here, right? So we can define like this also here. So based on our requirement, we can initialize the value, or we can go for the dynamic initialization also. So the dynamic initialization we understood in the previous example. Like when we're trying to discuss with the light speed here, this particular expression is going to provide the some value. Whatever the value we are getting, the value we are initializing into the seconds variable here. Getting the point. So based on this date here, if I'm going to change this particular date, the value, the entire expression is going to change, and the output of this particular expression, we are going to get different value here. Right. So these kind of scenarios we are going to call as a dynamic initialization, and this particular 1000 we are going to call as a static initialization here. So this is a constant value; it's not going to change. So once this particular value is initialized, so maybe with the reference of this particular variable name we can change, but value cannot be changed here. But here, so maybe this particular expression is going to provide different values here. Based on this particular input here, this particular output is going to change here. So that these kind of scenarios we are going to call as a dynamic initialization here. So this is also very important here. And now, so we need to focus on the scope. This is also very important here, the scope related example. Let me provide this simple example on this particular scope. And here I want to provide the class name here. Scope here. String path. And after this, now I'm trying to defining one variable called int x here. X is equals to, so directly I'm initializing the value 10 here. And I'm checking the condition. X equals to 10 here. Cutting the point. If this particular condition will satisfy, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to define one variable called into y. So the y value I'm trying to initialize with 2. Right. So after this, what I'm going to do, I will try to print this particular system dot out dot println. Here, x and y values here. Y. Getting the point. So after this, now what I'm doing here, so this expression is important here. X is equals to, so y multiplication 2. Right. I'm closing this particular block of code. So this is very important here. Now observe here. Now what I'm doing here, I open one brace here. I'm closing this particular brace. So within this particular brace, we are trying to check with the integer y value, and we are printing x and y value. So again, with the reference of this particular y value, I'm trying to increasing this particular x value here. Okay. So observe carefully. After this, now what I'm doing here. After this, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to check with the y value. So y is equals to 100 here. So y is equals to 100. And after this, now what I'm doing here, again, I'm trying to print this particular x value. I'm trying to print this particular x value, something called x here. So can you please let me know, like what are the outputs we are going to get here? So here, now I'm trying to print with so y value also. So can you please explain me, like we are having 3 statements here. So what are the values we are going to get here?
First statement 10, 2. Second statement 4. Third statement 100.
Okay, so for the second statement, you are saying 4. For third
Oh,
statement, we are getting 100.
no, X is 10. Sorry, second statement is 10.
Second statement is 10. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Anyone trying to explain this? These are the same. Okay, let me see. So, your 7, 10, 2. So, can you please provide the line numbers as well? Like where exactly you're trying to check with 10, 2? Okay, so maybe 10, 2, it's will the line number 7. Okay, and 10, 100, 10, 10, and 100. Okay, okay, good. So whenever you are trying to providing your like outputs here, could you please provide your line numbers also so that we can easily understand here. So what is the value you are providing for which line number here? Okay, only 3 answers I received here. Okay, whether it is wrong or right, that is a different matter. So like what you are trying to think, that is important here. Okay, so anyway, we can run the same example here. Observe here, we are having the scope here with the reference of this particular scope, Java C scope.java. But now you can see
Into Y we should give.
into Y.
Yeah.
So basically, with the same example, I want to run here, but we are getting an error here. So can you please read this particular error? So to handle this particular error, what we need to do?
You have to initialize Y. That's why it's giving error. I mean,
Okay, where I
declare
need
Y.
to initialize here?
Declare Y. Yeah.
Because Y is
Data.
being used outside of its scope.
Yes. So basically, we already declared this particular Y, but the problem here, the Y is accessible within this particular scope of block here. So this is I want to explain here, getting the point. So this is important here. So this particular Y cannot access this particular outside of this particular scope. So to access here, first what we need to do, we need to copy this entire this particular line. We can declare outside of this particular block. Getting the point. Now, so we can initialize the values and we can print the same values here. So that is I want to provide the information. Let me run one more time. Now you can see we are not seeing any errors here. But basically, we need to understand the scope here. Very important, this particular scope here. So whenever we enter into this particular scope here, so we need to use the same values inside this particular scope only. Once we come out of this particular scope, the values will become based on our requirement. If the values are declared outside of this particular scope, we can use. So otherwise, so we are going to get an error. So that we identify, cannot find the symbol here. Right. Now you can see if I am going to run the same example here, Java scope 10, 2, 4 and 100 here. Getting the point. So these are the values we are going to get, and this is very important, the scope variable information. Okay. And here I want to check one more information here. So directly I'm trying to define one the count information here. Can I use count is equals to 100 like this? The line number
No.
14,
Data.
I'm trying to use count is equals to 100. So why we cannot use here?
Data type.
We need to provide the data type here. So whatever the value we are initializing, but compiler cannot understand here. So what exactly this value contains here? Which data type this value contains here? Cutting the pen. So you can work with into data type, or based on our requirement, we can change the data type here. But we cannot use it without the data type, the directly variable name here. So this is we need to understand carefully here. And so now what I want to do,
I have one question. For line
Yes,
number
you
12,
can.
it should be 10, right? Because value of x is 10 outside. Inside, if it is changing to 4, but still outside it is 10, right? Global variable.
No, the x where we defined here.
Yeah, it is 10. But inside, if it is making 4, still when we come out of if, the statement system.output telling that is outside the if block. So scope of x equal to 4 ends in the if block, right? Why is the
Yes.
output showing 4?
So
It should be
basically,
10.
yes. Basically, the variable we declare inside this particular main method. So even though if we change this particular block of code, the value is going to reflected to the method level variable here. So
Okay.
wherever we are changing the value, so it's going to reflected to the main location variable here. So this is important here. So because of this particular x variable, we define the method level. Even if we are trying to change here, the value is going to
So are you
override
trying
with
to
the
say
current value.
if we are writing the code in main block, then there is no scope for the variable even if it is inside a block?
Yes,
Okay.
because we are inside the main scope here. Wherever we are trying to use the variable inside the main scope, the value will be affected in all the locations.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So
Can
back
I
to here.
declare can I
Yeah.
like declare one more variable with the same name inside the if scope, like another x?
So you can't. So observe
That
here.
will give an error.
Compiler cannot understand this.
Okay, fine, fine.
Okay. So if you want to just understand here, x is already defined. Getting the point. So basically, the compiler is going to get an ambiguity. So which variable I want to choose. So this section we can discuss the class level variable and the method level variable. So we are going to call as a local variable and instance variable. So how we can use the same name for the both variables here. So the section we can cover in the upcoming classes, but currently we cannot use. Okay. So any other questions? Okay. So let me check with you one more example here. So basically, here I'm trying to check with the lifetime of this particular variables here. So now we identified the scope of the variable here. So now we are going to check with the lifetime of the particular variable here. Observe here, I'm trying to define the class name as a lifetime. And now public static void main. So ATS, you can use any name. Here, what I'm doing here. Here I'm trying to define int x here. So we are going to check with the loop here, x is equals to 0. So we are trying to start from the 0 onwards. And I'm checking the condition x less than 3 and x plus plus. So we can check with this particular increment in our upcoming classes. So as of now, just understand here how exactly this particular x plus is going to work. So basically, this particular x plus is nothing but x is equals to x plus 1. X is equals to x plus 1. So with the same example we identified in the previous example, with the reference of this particular x value, we are adding one more value, and after adding this particular value, again we are initializing into the same variable here. Getting the point. So same thing is going to happen for this particular x plus plus. Okay, so back to here, after defining this particular loop here, now what I am going to write here? Here I am defining int y is equals to minus 1. Int y is equals to minus 1. So I'm going to print this particular y value system dot out dot println. So y is getting the point. And later, now what I'm doing here, y is equals to 100. I'm trying to increment the y value as 100 here. So finally, let me print again the y value. So y is now right. Let me close the here I want to use for loop, main loop, and we are having these one. Class level. Remove this. Okay. So you need to provide your answers here. So what is the line number 6 value we are going to get, and what about this particular line number 8 here? So what are the values we are going to get here? So can you please let me know like what you are trying to think here?
Line number 6 is y minus 1. Line number 8 is 100.
Okay, so how many times this loop is going to repeat? Only one time?
No, 3 times.
So it's going to repeat 3 times. For all the 3 times, the value will be same.
Yes.
So if you observe carefully, so we are trying to incrementing this particular value 100 here. For the second time, so why we are going to get minus 1 here? So first time you provided like the output here minus 1 and 100. Right. So now you can see the line number 7, we are trying to initializing the value as 100. The minus will become 100 here. So now what happens internally, the loop is going to repeat for the second time. Getting the point. This particular loop is going to repeat second time. So for the second time, why we are going to get minus 1 here? Because the value is already incremented right here.
That variable is deleted.
So variable is not going to delete it. The variable again it's going to override with the minus 1. So initially how it's going to look like here, observe carefully. X will become 0 and the y value will become initially minus 1. Getting the point. And this particular minus 1 will become 100 here because the line number 7 is going to override here. So this particular loop is going to repeat second time. So if the loop is going to repeat the second time, the x value will become 1 and this particular condition is satisfying. So again, the cursor will enter into the line number 5. Now what we are doing here, we are trying to override this particular 100 value with the minus 1 again. Getting the point. So because of this, we'll print on this particular minus 1 here. And after printing here, the minus 1 will become 100 here. Because the line number 7, again what we are doing here, we are trying to re-overriding this particular value here. Same thing is happened for the next iteration until this particular condition fails. So minus 1 will become 100, 100 will become minus 1. Right. So we'll observe this particular same example. So how exactly it's going to work. Save this particular example. Go back to here. So Java C lifetime.java and lifetime. Now you can see -1, 100, -100, -100. Getting the point. So this is very important here. We need to understand here. Right. So this is all about the scope and the lifetime of this particular variable here. Basically, the lifetime of variable here, every iteration is changing here. So that is I want to explain here. So initially it is starting from the -1. If the iteration is completed, the value will become 100. And if the iteration is started, again the value will become -1 here. Okay. So these are about the simple example on the lifetime. So we need to check with the type conversion here. So how exactly?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at
Go ahead.
line 5, right? In every iteration, what happens in line 5 when we give, because it is not simply y equals -1, it is like int y equals -1, right? So
Yes.
that means a variable has to get allocated, no?
So if you observe what happens internally, whenever we are coming out of this particular block, so this particular value it's not available here because we
So
came out of
that,
the scope here.
okay, so that gets
But
deleted,
until
right?
yeah,
That variable.
see basically what happens here until these three operations here, so the cursor it cannot come out of the loop here. Until inside this particular loop for loop only we are trying to repeat the multiple times here.
Okay, so the if we check the location of that, I mean the location value of that variable, then it will remain same throughout all three
Same.
iterations.
Yes, same.
Okay.
Because we are inside the scope only. Once we come out of this particular scope, the location of this particular variable is different here. If it is creating multiple times, so each time the location is going to change. But here we are having the same scope here.
Okay.
Okay. So back to here. Now we understand here the lifetime. We need to check with the type conversion here. So basically the type conversion will happen internally. So because what is the shortest data type here, that is called byte here, and later short and int and long. So same way we have this particular the another group called floating point, float and double here, because byte is the short data type and long is the highest data type for this particular integer group. For this particular floating group, here float is a small data type and double is the highest data type here. Getting the point. So if I'm going to convert the value byte to short or short to int or int to long, so we don't have any problem here. Getting the point. We don't have any problem there. The problem here, so whenever we are trying to convert, getting the point, long to int or into to byte, getting the point, or into to short. So here we are going to get a problem here because so this particular storage capacity is compared to the long data type is small here. Basically, in the previous example we identified here, so each data type is going to get different bits here. Getting the point. If the data type having the different bits here, the storing the value also be made different here. Right. So how exactly we can handle this kind of scenario here? First we'll check with the automatic type conversion here. So automatic type conversion, so it's going to perform here. So byte to short or byte to long, getting the point, or short to int or short to long. So this conversion is going to happen automatically. We don't want to provide any explicit typecasting here. But here, so when we are trying to check with the long data type into wide data type here, or long like a bigger value into smaller value, we need to provide the explicit typecasting here. So how exactly we can work with this particular explicit typecasting here? So to understand this particular scenario, so we'll check with a simple example here. So how exactly this particular section is going to work here? Now we are having the data here. Let me go for the one more class here, class N. What I want to provide here, conversion. Observe carefully here. Now what I am doing here. Basically, I am trying to define one variable called int a, and one more I am trying to define. So byte is equals to b. Getting the point. If I want to convert this particular a value to this particular byte here, now what we can do? Can I write like this? B is equals to a. So b is equals to a here. Getting the point. So first we'll initialize the value like b a is equals to something called 45, and directly system dot out dot println. I'm trying to print particular b value. So basically now what we're doing is the like integer value we are trying to converting into byte. So now observe here. So we
Your
see
internet is
what happens
unstable.
internally. So it's going to convert or not. Sorry.
I'm saying your internet is unstable.
Stable. Okay. So only can you please let me know other people also having?
Yeah, I don't see any problem. I'm good.
Okay. Can you please let me know like anyone having an issue? So I need to check with most of the people if all the people are having the same, so that I can reconnect one more time. So it's okay now. One minute. Let me check any my internet connection. Okay. So we'll check one more time here. Like if you are having the same problem, so could you please let me know so that I can reconnect one more time. Back to here. Now what we are doing here, we are trying to check with this particular integer data, and we define the one variable called a is equals to 45. And same way we define one more data type here, byte here. Now what we are doing here, the a value is nothing but the integer value we are trying to convert into byte here. Okay. So now you can see, so we already identified this particular, like we compiled this particular example. Now we are getting an error here. So what is the error we are getting here? So we are getting here incompatible types here.
Incompatible.
Oh. So now how we can resolve this particular error here? Getting the point?
Type conversion.
Typecast.
Yes. So to cast this, what we need to do here, so we need to convert as a byte. If I'm going to compile the same example here, now we can see we are not seeing any errors here. Getting the point? So this section we are going to call as a explicit casting here. Getting the point? So basically, explicitly, we are trying to provide in the particular data type here. So from the which data type to which data type we are trying to converting, we are providing the data type information here. So now, if we want to find out the automatic casting here, so this particular automatic type casting here, how exactly it will work here? So it's a simple here. So from byte C is equals to, if I'm going to add 78, and into D is equals to C. Into D is equals to C. Here if I'm going to print this particular D value, so now you can see we are not going to get any error here, and Java conversion. The 78 we are getting here. So the second example here, it is a automatic typecasting here. We are having the byte value, we are trying to converting into integer. So this particular D is now into data type here. Getting the point? So without providing any explicit typecasting here, the value we are able to convert it into the type from the byte data type here. So we need to focus more on the explicit typecasting here. Getting the point? So now what I'm going to write here. So I want to provide the one more example here. So observe byte B and so int I is equals to 257, double D is equals to, here I'm trying to check with decimal values here. So this is the double data type value I'm having here, 323.142. So now first we'll check with into 2 byte. Later we can check with double 2 byte. Right. System.out.println conversion into 2 byte. So this section we are trying to converting from into 2 byte here. So if I'm going to convert this particular into 2 byte, first what we need to do, we need to provide the explicit byte cast here and I value. Right. And here I want to print directly B here. So if I'm going to run this particular example, so what is the output you are expecting here? The line number 8 here. So what is the output you are expecting here? Can you please let me know?
Random number.
So why we are going to get random number?
Because byte, the range is minus 128 to 125.
Good. Like whatever the integer value we are having, so it is outside of this particular range. So whenever the value is outside of this particular range, so how exactly the value is going to calculated and the value will return here. Now observe here, if I am going to run this particular example, Java C conversion.java and Java conversion. So what is the value we are getting here? 1 here. But what is actually the integer value we are having? 257. How this particular value is calculated and the 1 is coming here. Getting the point? So basically, so it's going to use this particular the module operator here. So based on this particular module operator, the value is going to converted here. So to understand here, system.out.println. Here I want to check with the module operator I module of 257. I module of 257. 250. Let's see. So basically, internally, so which is going to use this particular module operator. So now you can see the operator is returning one value. Getting the point? So it's going to check with the module operator. Whatever the remainder we are going to get, the remainder value is going to store here. Getting the point? So this is happened for any data with any data type here. So which is going to converting to byte data type. Internally, this particular module operator will come into the picture, and once the module operator is providing the remainder value, so the particular value is going to return here. So same thing. Now observe here. I want to convert B is equals to D. I want to convert this particular. Let's see. So what is this particular B value we are going to get? What is this particular B value? Right now, we are trying to check with a double data type. From the double data type, we are trying to converting into this particular byte data type here. So observe, again I am trying to run the same example here. So what is the value we are getting here? 67 here. Basically, the double data type we are having some dot values. After the dot values, whatever the dot values we are having, so whenever we are trying to converting into integer data types here, those values will not available first. And second, the particular value, the 67 we are getting after completion of this particular, the module operator. Whatever the remainder we are getting, so the particular remainder value is going to store here. Right. The particular remainder is going to store here. So to understand here, now what we can do here. So to understand here, let me write the same, this particular module operator here. Instead of this particular I, we need to specify this particular D. Observe here, so what is the value this particular, the module operator is going to return here. So what is the value is returning here? So 67.142. Getting the point? 67.142. But what happens internally, why we are not getting this particular .142? Basically, the double data type is converting into integer data type. So because of this, what happens internally? The dot, after the dot, whatever the values we are having, those values are not going to added into this particular byte data type. Getting the point? So any questions regarding this particular type conversion? No? Okay. So we'll check with this particular long data type here. Basically, in the previous example, so someone asked like, if I'm going to change to this particular int data type, what happens internally? Okay. So before going to discuss this particular same example, now what I want to do, first I want to convert this particular long data type into data type here. So and before going to convert this particular long data type into data type here, first we need to check the long value, the long data type max value, and into data type max value here. So now observe system dot out dot println here. Same way we need to understand integer max value and long max value. So type conversion. So now we can observe here the first one is indicating long data type max value, and so this is a integer integer max value. So now you can see the range of the value is compared to the long and integer, it's very different here, right? So now what you are understanding here, if I'm going to convert this particular long value into int, so it's going to convert or not. So first what we need to understand here, copy this particular long value and long L is equals to long data type here. Now what I'm doing here, int x is equals to L. Int x is equals to L. And I want to print this particular x. X is nothing but int data type here. X is nothing but the int data. Basically, the L is having the long value. Now we are trying to converting into this particular int data type here. So now let me run the same example one more time. So we did not close this semicolon. Java conversion. So now you can see incompatible it's providing. Okay, no problem. We can change with the explicit typecasting here. So it's compiled successfully. Java conversion. So the final println statement you can see -1 we are getting here. So why we are getting -1? Because now you can see this particular integer range is small value compared to this particular long max value here. Getting the point. So we cannot convert the particular max value into integer value. Getting the point. So this is we need to understand very carefully. So the range is very important between the long data type and int data type here. First we need to check the range of the each data type here, whether the given value is within the range or not. If it is within the range, we can convert it into the small data type here. And if it is not the range here, so we can see we are going to get this particular -1 here. Right. So one more example here. Instead of loading this particular long max value, we can check with the same example with this particular integer max value. Integer max value, but this particular integer max value I'm trying to converting into long, and the same long value I'm trying to converting into this particular int x here. So now you can see if I'm going to run the same example, what happening internally? So we can happily converting the value into int here, because so the value within the range here. Getting the point. Now you can see the previous output and the current output here. The previous output we are getting -1, the current output we are getting same value, because basically that is a integer max value. So we converted as a long data type, and from the long data type we converted into the integer. So this is the way we can convert here. So any questions regarding this particular long and into data type conversion? Okay. So I'm not seeing any response. So I'm expecting here all are fine. Okay. So now observe here. I want to provide one more example here. Let me comment out this particular section here. So this is the basically this particular comment we are going to as a double line comment here. Now whenever we want to comment more than one line, what we can do? So we can open this particular slash and star. We can close with the same format here. So that compiler is going to ignore whatever the code which is available between this particular double line comment here. So compiler cannot compile this particular code here. So this is also important here. In the which scenario we can write this particular double line comment and a single line comment here. So back to here, I want to check with the simple example here. Now I'm having one value called byte A is equals to something called 40 and byte B is equals to something called 50. Byte C is equals to something called 100. So here what I'm doing here, so A into B by C. So I want to know this particular output here. Here basically what we are doing here, with the reference of this particular byte data types here, we are trying to multiplying the value, and after this we are trying to dividing this particular value here. So what is the output we are going to get? And like I'm asking only a data type here. I'm not asking the output value here. So just to provide the data type here. So what is the data type of this particular output here? So can I use this particular output as a, so byte D is equals to, or can I work with int or long? So what is the data type is suitable for this particular output value here? So can you please let me know, so which data type is suitable here?
Int.
So why int here?
Because these numbers are not very big numbers.
No, you can see like we are having all the data types are having the byte here, but the output, why we are going to get int
Okay.
here?
Because the
Any
numbers
other
are
questions?
large.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because the numbers are large, you'll be getting int.
Really? These numbers are large?
While you do the multiplication, like first you have to do A into B, which is 50 into 40, that is 2000, which can't be stored in byte.
But after we are trying to dividing, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it may be like result we may expect in decimals. So better to use float or float.
No. Okay. So basically, first we'll check with byte only. The same data type we can check here. So we'll see what happens. So D. Let me clear the console, compile the code. So now here we are having the problem. So what is providing this particular error here? So So we cannot use this particular value to
Type.
byte here. Yes, the output we cannot use as a byte here. So basically, what I want to provide here. So let me check with the int here. So it is compiled successfully here. So here, what I want to explain here, even though we are trying to use this particular all the variable as a byte data type here, but after completion of this particular expression here, whatever the output value we are going to get, by default, getting the point, Java compiler is going to treat it as a int data type here. Right. So it's going to treat it as a int. So because of this, previously we worked with a byte, so we got an error here. But if I'm going to change to this particular int, it is working without getting any error here. So to convert into the byte data type again, what we need to do? So we can go for the exist typecasting here, getting the point. So this is important here. So whenever you are trying to change any value, the integer value, right? The expected output should be by default int only. If we want to convert into any data type, we can explicitly convert here. The value by default, the compiler is going to treat it as a int data type here. So this is important here. So just for understanding, I'm trying to explain here. So now, if I'm going to run this particular example, we are getting 20. The 20 value we can store in the byte data types also, but the problem here, compiler is going to treat it as the output as an integer. So now, to convert, we already identified here. We can check with this particular data type called byte, and we can change this particular into as a byte. Compile. Okay. So it cannot use. So to use this, first we need to use here one more brace. So we need to work with the more braces here because all the values are Java treating as a integer. It has to work. Again, A and B we are going to get byte and no incompatible use. What is that? From into 2 bytes. So still it's taking integer. If it is taking integer, so we need to change here. Byte. Dot plus is expected, not a statement. C. We don't have C. Yes, we have what happened into the this is closed here and this is closed here. Okay. Not a statement, semicolon expected, not a statement. Okay. So I will let you know how exactly we can convert into this particular. Really? So again, between we may get an error. Let me try. Yes. So the whole expression we need to change here. So previously we checked with this particular expression. So this is how we can change here. Now we are getting this the particular 20 here. So we need to take some attention whenever we are trying to converting this particular one data type into another data type here. So this is important here. So finally we'll check with one more example here. So now here, so this is I'm trying to use multiple data types here. Conversion tool. So carefully observe here. Now what I am going to write here. Here I am trying to use multiple data types here. So byte b is equals to 42 and char ch is equals to small a and s short s is equals to 1024 and int I is equals to something called 50,000. Float f is equals to 5.6 f here. Finally double d is equals to dot 1234 and so result here. So this result is important here. So inside this particular result, like what is expected result of the data type. Now let me provide this particular the type conversion like multiplication or division, whatever we want to provide. So what is our the return type here, like the return data type here. Basically, so first what I am doing here, I am trying to work with F and do P, cutting the point. So plus I am using and one more expression I am trying to write here, something called I. So divided by C, H, not C, H. Okay. So finally, I'm checking with the minus here. Here, so D multiplication of S. Okay, can you please think this particular expression and so what is the output we are going to get? So here, what is the data type I want to provide here for this particular result? So why it is a double here?
Because that is the largest variable used.
No.
Like when
See,
you do
that
the
is not
conversion,
a. If you see after completion of this particular expression, so we make it int also. Okay, so no problem. So can you please explain me for this particular block here? So what is the data type will return here? The F multiplication of B. So what is the
float,
data type we are going to get? Sorry.
F, float.
So here we are going to get float. Okay, what about this particular, the second expression?
I.
So I, let me make it with clear. F plus I for this particular final one.
D.
So here we are going to get D. Right. So now you can see if I'm going to add this particular three values here, what is the data type we are going to get?
D.
Right. So float, int and double. So we are going to get as a the particular double value here. So we need to think like this here to provide this particular data type here. Finally, we are going to get the data type called double here. System dot out dot println result here. So this particular conversion 2 is important here. So because we are trying to check with multiple expressions here. So conversion to .java. So this is our result. So if you see, if I'm going to convert into this particular value, we may get int also 623. So 623 we can easily return inside this particular int data type. But the problem here, so all the expressions here. So first we need to check all the expressions here. So what is each and every expression is written in which data type here. Right. So based on that, we are going to get the particular final result here. So these are about the type conversion here. So tomorrow we are going to check with the arrays related concepts here. So once the arrays related concepts are completed here, inside this particular array, we are going to check with the multi-dimensional array, like a one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array examples here. So these are about the simple example. Later we are going to check with the operators here. Okay. So any questions regarding our today's session?
So why is there a S given in the float? Like, why do we have to specify it's a float?
So basically, if I'm going to remove this, so it's going to treat it as a double data type here. Compiler is going to treat it as a double. So to share the information to the compiler, this value is related to float. We need to specify the F.
But the variable that we declare is float, no? So even if it
Yes.
treats as double, how can it store?
But if you observe the previous example, for all the example we provided this particular byte, but still we are getting the expected output as a integer.
Okay.
Getting the point. So even though we are defining, but to default the compiler, if I'm going to provide any the dot values, it's going to treat it as a double here.
Okay. Also, can we like store, use other numbers other than decimal, like hexadecimal, or store binary in integers?
So like we can store, but okay. So we'll check with those example, one to example binaries related example. So basically, so they are not much usable the binaries and the hexadecimal values here. So that's the reason I could not provide the information regarding those. So we can store no problem here. So we'll see like one-to-one example regarding this particular binaries related examples. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. So I'm not seeing any response here. So maybe all are good. We can conclude the today's session. We'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you.
Sir, can you share the recorded link of this session?
Okay. So basically, yesterday I did not get the time to upload the videos. So today I'm going to take some time and I upload the videos and I will provide the link.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.